According to a poll taken in a certain country, when adults were asked whether they're thriving, struggling, or suffering, 293 out of 455 said that they were struggling. Part A is asking for the value p hat, which is the sample proportion from this sample right here. To determine that, we can just divide 293 by 455. I'm going to pull up a calculator to do that. So that is 293 divided by 455. So if we round to 3 decimal places, that's 0.644. That's the value I'll put right here. So about 64.4% of people are saying that they are struggling. Now that might not be the actual proportion, but that's what we got from the sample, and that's why we call it this p hat. Now part B says check the conditions to determine whether we can apply the central limit theorem to find the confidence interval. I'm going to, assume that there is a random and independent condition, so I'll say, this can reasonably be assumed to hold. The large sample condition that n times p and n times 1 minus p is greater than or equal to 10, I think we can say that that holds as well. And the big population condition, like you don't want to have a sample, here we have 455 people, like if this is too big, potentially you might not have a random sample anymore. But we're told that, this is in a certain country, and it's got to be that the actual size of the population is way bigger than 455. So I'm just going to say that this also holds, like all these conditions are met. But on to this last part here of now constructing a 95% confidence interval. So this can be done entirely within StatCrunch. So what I'm going to do is go to Question Help and open up StatCrunch. Now where I'll go next is I'll go to where it says Stat. Since we're talking about a proportion, I'm going to go to where it says Proportion Stats. I'm going to select one sample because there was one sample of 455 individuals. We don't have the data, but we have a summary of the data, that the summary being 293 people said that they were struggling. So I'm going to enter in the number of successes. The number that goes here is going to be the 293. And the total number of observations is going to be the total of 455 people who were asked this question. The only thing left to do here is where it says perform. So off of this data, we want to select confidence interval. And then in here, you're going to put the level of confidence. Now, it's asking for a 95% confidence interval, so we can just leave this as 0.95 for 95%. There's nothing else to enter, just the number here, the total number of people sampled, and then select confidence interval. If I click compute, over here it gives me this lower limit and upper limit. This is the lower bound of your confidence interval, and this is the upper bound of your confidence interval. Those are the things that go here and here. It says to round them to 3 decimal places. So for the lower limit, if I round this 9 up, it actually changes this to 600, or really 0.600. So that's what I'm going to put here. And for my upper limit, if I round to 3 decimal places, that's 0.688. Okay, so this was the sample proportion. It's right in the middle of this confidence interval, and we can say with 95% confidence that the actual proportion falls within this range. I'll check my answer, and that is everything for this question.